Hello, this is the third part of how to keep your voice happy and healthy on Zoom. In the first part we looked at alignment and how we sit and how we can wriggle and how we can move to help keep our voices working as efficiently as possible. And in the second video we looked at where we might feel the tension and ways to release that tension to make our voices feel better. That's stuff that can be done throughout the day when you have moments to do it. This third video is going to show you some little voice exercises that you can do either after a call or at the end of the day or before you start the day as well. So they're all things that will help your voice work as efficiently as possible, but also kind of eliminate tiredness. Now there is a caveat with all of this. If you have any underlying voice health problems, this may not help, and in that case, you know, if you're feeling hoarse, tired, and other things, you feel that something's not quite right, then that would be a point where you would try and get an ENT appointment. So I'll show you some voices as exercises. I think one of the most effective ways I'm going to show you is by using a straw. Okay, but I'll show you some solutions if you haven't got a straw. Now, I do acknowledge this is a plastic straw. It has been hanging around the house for months and months, if not years. I haven't bought any plastic straws. Paper straws will work just as well, okay? Or if you have glass straws, metal straws, they're quite cool. They will work too. I'm also, shockingly, I've actually got water in my wine glass today. Now, a wine glass is not ideal for this, which I'll show you in a minute. A bottle, if you have one, which is half filled, is great, but I didn't have a see-through bottle, so I got my wine glass because I do have a wine glass. Anyway, so I've half filled that wine glass, and I'm going to just start by gently making some bubbles. Okay, and I couldn't help myself there. I jumped the gun and I started doing some little mini pitch glides, some sirens, and my voice went up and down in pitch. But for the beginning, what we want to do is just create some bubbles that are nice and gentle, so they're not too overpowering. So something like this. Okay, and I'm doing that without any voice. It's the exact thing you probably tell or you've heard children being told not to do when they're in restaurants. Especially nasty with milk, take it from me. So we're going to just add some voice to this sound now. So we can use a held note. So choose a note that's comfortably low in your range and just send that through the straw. So it's like I'm humming through the straw, like this. And the bubbles are telling me how hard I'm working. So I don't want crazy bubbles and I don't want to put too much effort into it. And I'm aiming for about 1 out of 10 effort here. Okay, so I'm aiming for really low effort, but I'm still making some sound. So then I might try making some bubbles and using different pitches. So that was a ooh, sending it through the straw. Ooh. And I might try and see how long I can hold those on whilst maintaining that similar level of bubbles. So what that's all doing is it's just resetting your vocal folds and making them work really, really efficiently, okay? Cause science, okay? That's a whole other thing, but just take it from me. That's what's happening. Okay, so when we've got happy with making that noise through the straw, 2 or 3 minutes we can do this. We can then start to add some change in pitch. So pitch is how high or how low a note goes, and I like to glide up and down because that will gently stretch your vocal folds. Vocal cords, as they're sometimes known as. So I'll just do this. When I feel comfortable with that, I might do some small hills, some medium hills, and some large hills like this. All the time trying to maintain a nice level of effort on the bubbles. So those will be just gently encouraging your vocal folds to work really, really nicely, and also helping them to feel less fatigue. A very quick example of when your when your vocal folds are tired, they're not quite closing as they should. What we really want is them to close nicely. There's my hands being vocal folds, not quite accurate, but it's an idea of what's going on. So the straw is encouraging, just takes all the effort away and makes them work effectively. So if you're feeling like you're enjoying blowing bubbles, you could then blow some of your songs through the straws. If you know any songs, anything, you can just sing anything. And all the same time I'm trying to maintain that level of effort. Okay, so if you haven't got a straw, another thing that works really well is creating some puffy cheeks. So you can imagine it's like you're going to splurt water everywhere. So imagine you've got a mouthful of water, okay, and then you're imagining that you're going to squirt that everywhere. So we're creating that sense of pressure in the cheeks. Okay, so that air filled up in the cheeks. And you can do the same thing. So you can hold a note and you're just trying to let a tiny bit of air out. Or if that sound doesn't suit you, you can try some. So they can be done on either a V or a Z or a Z. Okay, so that's V for victory, or a Z for like a buzzy bee, Z, or a Z like Z, je m'appelle, like in French. So we can use those, make the same noises. So we can either hold a continuous note and see how long we can hold it for, or we can do some up and downs. And we can do that on all of those sounds. So pick a sound that suits you. Straw's great because you get the feedback from the bubbles, so you can see how hard you're working, but also all of those sounds are great too. So try and get some of those done twice a day, one either side of the day, or break off and do that. If you don't have water but you do have a straw, you can do it with just a straw. So that's another thing. And also when you've finished your work, just bring your voice back down. And a nice way of doing that is just to take a nice sigh. And if you're able to drop into that sound, that can be really nice and relaxing for your vocal folds. That's called vocal fry or creak. But just bringing your voice back down. If you haven't, just do some sirens gently. If you find that fry noise difficult, just come straight into, say, a nice and relaxed. Don't worry about the breaks and cracks. Let those breaks and cracks happen. Don't fight the breaks and cracks. Don't fight the breaks and cracks, man. Yeah, just let them happen. That's your voice going, oh, I'm a bit tired. But you'll notice that all of these exercises fix the breaks and cracks. So yeah, just try and do some of those exercises through the day and try and cool your voice down just by bringing it back down to a really low level of effort that you can feel, that feels comfortable, really comfortable. Final things to say is, after you've been working, things that can affect your voice that are external circumstances. Sleep. If you're fatigued and you're tired, that's going to have an effect on all your muscles, and your vocal folds are certainly included in that. The other thing is drinks. Make sure you have plenty of non-alcoholic drinks throughout the day. I think this is massive, and the best way to do that is just to have regular sips, not deck it all in one, because then you need to go to the loo, and that's not very helpful either. So just try and keep a regular flow of drinks going as you're there. Set yourself up. I know what it's like on Zoom. You're suddenly there and you've not got a drink. If you haven't got a small child to shout at to go and get you drinks, which is what I tend to do. Just make sure you've brought your drinks. Anything will do. Water's great and brilliant and optimum, but you know, I'm drinking herbal teas. Caffeine's okay, has a slight dehydrating effect, but it still counts. It's still liquids. So make sure you're geared up with liquids, and as I said, also make sure you move around as much as you can. So getting some sleep, getting some drinks while you're working will all help, and just trying to reset your voice when you're finished with a bit of fry is great. What I haven't touched on in this video is things you can do to encourage more efficient breathing and all of that. These are just some simple things you can do. If that's something of interest, let me know, and I'll see if I can think about something else along those lines. But anyway, I'll leave it there. All right, thank you.